Welcome to Business or Pressure, taking the pain out of massage business with me, Allissa Haines. This is your no-nonsense guide to managing your massage business, and it's our mission to make sure that every massage therapist and body worker has the tools to make a living wage in a thriving business. Let's jump in. Today we are talking about the most tedious of tedious and boring of boring annual tasks and checklists for your massage or bodywork business. There are so many balls in the air with a small business. And when you are busy with clients, it is really hard to make time for seemingly random admin tasks. And when you're not busy with clients, it can be really hard to work up the motivation for these seemingly random admin tasks. But the tasks are necessary, and handling them regularly is better than not. It's better than waiting until you really need that one document and then having to spend hours going and finding it and swearing a lot and getting really aggravated in the process. So what are all these little tasks? The very first is to make a list of tasks and put them in some kind of framework. Even if you are not someone who can strictly follow a schedule or a to-do list, that's okay. You just need a list of these things you know you should do so that when you can actually make yourself do them, you know where to start. So actually creating a list virtually on paper, whatever works for you, is step one of eliminating the decision fatigue that happens where you know you have time, you want to do something, but you don't know what to do, and so you do nothing. Creating the list and the framework is step one. And if that's all you get from this episode, that's kind of okay. If you can start making a list, maybe that's good enough for now. I like to keep the pressure low here. But here are some thoughts on what you could put on such a list. There's really obvious stuff like bookkeeping. You know it has to be done. It's going to have to be done one way or another, whether you're rushing to do it the first week in April or you do it in little bits throughout the year, or some combination of these things. You know at some point you're going to need to total up all your income for the year. And you know at some point you're going to have to total up and organize all of your expenses for the year. I think it's better to do in small bursts throughout the year, even if it's not weekly or monthly. Quarterly works. But make sure bookkeeping is on your list of things to do regularly-ish. Physically cleaning and deep cleaning your massage space. There's the client-to-client cleaning. There is the day-to-day stuff. There's the regular vacuuming that has to happen every day or more than that during salt and sand season in New England. But there's also the deep cleaning, the sliding things away from the wall and sticking the vacuum hose in there. And there is a deep cleaning that should happen 1, 2, 3, 4 times a year, depending on your motivation. But it does need to happen. Changing HVAC intake filters and air cleaner filters and cleaning all around these things. I am fastidious about this. I do it every 12 weeks at my office. It is a whole project because I have to have my partner help me bring a ladder in and climb up on this ladder and reach into the ceiling for the HVAC intake. It is a thing that is really important to me because I run a COVID-conscious office and air quality matters. I can tell you the first 10 years of practice, I didn't even know that replacing an HVAC intake filter was a thing. And it wasn't until I got a client who was an HVAC guy who was like, hey, you should be replacing that every quarter. And he graciously got me a filter, showed me how, and then I took over. But now in a world that is more thoughtful about air quality and infection control, this is a thing I am super intense about. So I put it in my calendar. And I get my little alert every quarter. And when I get that alert, I make a plan to get that ladder in and change these filters. I am not saying that everybody can or should do this, but you might actually notice you feel better if you have newer filters in your HVAC intake and in your air cleaner. All right, that's my rant about that. Ordering product, or at least checking on your product so you know your situation. I'm never going to be able to order product on like a regular schedule because I just go through things at random rates. And sometimes I'll use a gallon of one thing and then I'll run out and I'll use a gallon of this other thing I've had for a while just to get it used up. and then I'll be down to 1 8-ounce bottle and I'll have to reorder things. There's no real schedule here. But I do make it a habit to regularly open that cabinet, look at what I have, so that when I get a sale email, I know what I actually need. And I can tell you that last year I kind of missed my window and never really checked on my product because I knew I had a lot of stuff. And then I got a couple sale emails and I was like, oh, I'll order a gallon of this and oh, I'll order a gallon of that. And they came in the mail and that's when I actually opened my cabinets and I already had 2 of each of those things I had ordered. And then it just becomes a whole waste of time and space and energy. A thing you can and should do regularly is move through your office with all the lights on. I rarely turn the overhead lights in my office on, except for when I do this and I do a deeper cleaning. Turn the lights on, walk through your office, lay on your massage table facing the ceiling and the floor and the walls. Have a critical eye as clients would see things. And this is how you're going to catch weird spider webs and dead bugs in the light fixtures. Do the same thing outside your office building. Do a slow approach in a vehicle, on foot. Look at things as clients would see them and start from a drive-by, start from the street. And also just look at the place and see what I can do to make it a little more visible or make sure nothing's out of place and looking weird. All right, those are the really obvious things. Some less obvious things that we gotta check on a semi-regular basis. Updating your services. And I don't mean changing everything, but checking to make sure that your service descriptions match, your pricing matches, your tone matches, everything matches in all the different places that information exists. So on your website, in your various social media places, in your Google business profile, in the physical space, if you actually have printed materials, make sure that everything matches. And you can dig deep and review your confirmation and reminder emails. Make sure your cancellation policy matches in all the places where it's posted physically and virtually. Check on the contact information and the links in your website, and especially links if you have a blog post or you have a resources page that links out to other businesses. Check on those and make sure that they're active and current. And I will tell you that I had a mortifying situation pop up a few weeks ago where I've got a contact form on the contact page of my website and something glitched somewhere and it stopped working. The form would accept information and then it would never send me the email to alert me that someone was trying to contact me. And it wasn't until someone called me and was like, hey, have you gotten my messages through the website? I'm trying to get an appointment scheduled and I never heard back from you. And I was mortified because no, I did not get those. I hate when things like that happen in my business, but I now have a note in my schedule every month to test my online forms. And to do that, links in your social channels, update your logo, your profile picture. Just make sure it's all consistent. You can do these things all at once. You can hit each social media profile or whatever online outpost listing, wherever you're at. Just make sure everything matches across the board. This should take you less than an hour. Put your favorite comfort show on the TV and hop on it. And finally, just getting rid of stuff. I tend to let things pile up. I hoard. And my current office has a lot of storage space, so it lets me hoard a little more than is probably healthy. I ran into a situation where someone recently gave me some blankets, which is great. I needed them. And then I bought some more sheets because I didn't want to have to do laundry between every single shift. And yikes, I have no storage space for these things because I have too much random stuff collected and stored in my office. So I have been making it a point whenever I have a substantial break of more than a half an hour between clients, I am trying to open a cabinet and get rid of things. Either figure out who I can give stuff to so it can get reused, or see if it's something that can be donated, or just go walk it to the dumpster. So many of these tasks can just be really boring. I try to add in a few perks as I work through things. When you finish a batch of boring tasks, if it's cleaning your office space, get a new plant for the office, move some artwork, or do something that will make your work more fun, like downloading new music or just make a new playlist. I am a huge fan of rewarding yourself with something after you finish a boring task. I want to wrap up just by jumping back to the beginning and suggesting that just Making the list of things you know have to be done on a semi-regular basis is step one. I would not suggest that you have to do all these things at once. I would not necessarily even suggest that you open your calendar and make a place in your calendar for each of these tasks, because then I know you're just going to ignore your calendar and that's not healthy either. But make the list, get started, do one task, report back to me and tell me how you did if you need me to send you a cookie. And that's what I got today. Thanks for listening. If you need me, you can find me at deepbreathdigital.com, consulting and money coaching other massage therapists. And make sure you're subscribed to ABMP's podcast so you don't miss a beat. I'll see you right back here for the next episode. I can't wait.